How you doing today? Look at that Mr. BugPop in the middle of the screen, Norm. Is that where you want to put that? That looks weird.
Look, I can move.
What the heck did you put that in there for? I don't know if you can move that now.
You can move.
Oh man, that's a little bit arrogant if you stick that in the center of your screen, isn't it? You put your logo. My son Ryan made that logo for me, if anyone's wondering. That's why I've got that on there. I swore I wouldn't do another live stream for a while. I have a lot of live stream going on the last little while. People might be tired of hearing me talk, and my voice was so sore after the last time. I swore I wouldn't do another one for a while. Just get back to doing the things that I really enjoy doing, is going out into the area around where we live and just looking around and seeing what might make a nice video. But today we got up and we went to McDonald's for a cup of coffee, and the three of us. Ryan's here with us, and Pernor, my wife, and then Norm wants an ice cream cone, of course, right? So we got to go to Dairy Queen and get an ice cream cone. So we park here at the Lions Centennial Park in Ponoka. And there's this one, I just want to diverge a little bit from the topic here a bit. There's a guy on YouTube I've been watching for a while, and I just want to tell you about him before we carry on. His name is Joe Lawrence, and I kind of got turned on to his music from a guy by the name of Steve, Camping with Steve on YouTube. And anyway, Joe's a family man. He's got a really big family, and he's a very talented musician. I think he comes from a real musical family. And he made a song for Camping with Steve in mind, and I heard it on Camping with Steve's channel one day, and so I checked out Joe Lawrence on YouTube, and I saw that song called Come With Me, and I played it over and over and over and over and over again. So it's kind of seared into my brain now, and I just, this guy deserves to be shouted out. He deserves to be supported. He's an Alberta boy, born and raised Alberta boy, and if we all get behind him, he's a guy that can go places and bring his music and the joy that comes along with listening to it to a really wide audience. I really think Joe has got an amazing talent. So I just wanted to shout him out. We were sitting here and we were just sitting here and we were listening to a playlist of his. And the thing with Joe is he's been on YouTube here for quite a while, and he's still not struggling, but he's still looking to get to that 4,000 hour minimum so he can get monetized. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if everybody listening would just play a playlist of his, commit to playing 50 minutes of Joe Lawrence today, and that, my friends, would push him over that 4,000 hour limit, and he could start monetizing and promote his channel, promote his music, and bring a lot of happiness to people. So if you're listening to this when you run it again, we're live right now, but if you're listening to it later, check out Joe Lawrence's channel and give him some love. Play his playlist, and I think you'll like his music too, and it just might be something you can add to your own music collection. Joe is a really gracious guy. I emailed him and asked him if I could use some of his material, his songs, in any of the videos that I'm making in the future. So I've got a project planned to use some of Joe's music, and I hope that I can do his music justice, because really he's a tremendous singer-songwriter, and he deserves some recognition and he deserves some love. So there's the first shout out. The second shout out I want to make today is a fairly new subscriber to our channel, Mr. BugPop. And this kid is gonna go places. He's a young guy out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and he goes by the handle DJ Madder, Madder. And this kid wants to be a YouTuber. He wants to find success in the YouTube world, and he's going out there. He's upgraded his camera now, and he's just searching around YouTube for ideas on how to grow his channel and become a success. So we want to encourage him to keep going. DJ Madder, make your dreams happen. Look to some of the big superstars in YouTube for examples on how to grow your channel and become successful. I like watching Mr. Beast. There's a kid that did some awfully bizarre things in the beginning, like counting to I don't know, 10,000, reading the entire Yellow Pages phone book to get his watch hours up so he could get monetized. And look at him now, you know. His first $10,000 deal he made from some company sponsoring him, he just walked up to a stranger on the street and gave it to him. $10,000. A kid just out of high school just gave him the $10,000. That takes a bit of a leap of faith, I'd say. And that led to more money coming his way, and he gave it all back again. So there's a perfect example of somebody who just tried some things, and he tried the some of the philosophy about paying it forward, and it made enough stir. I remember hearing something on the radio about some kid that gave a waitress money, and that was one of his stunts too, that he gave great big tips of thousands of dollars to people, and it got people watching, and now he can afford to fill warehouses full of food for food banks. And sure, they're taking care of themselves and their friends too, right? They're making big money. But, he's helping the community where he lives. He's helping communities all across the United States from what I see on some of his videos. And good on him. And that's where you can take this. Like, you can take your YouTube platform and allow it to be a force for good, then I think that's pretty spectacular. Anyway, so DJ Matter, keep up the good work, man, and be encouraged. Just keep plugging away at it, and look at all the examples out there on YouTube, and you're going to be successful too. Okay, with those two shout outs done, I want to talk about something here. I didn't plan on live streaming here at all, and we're sitting here enjoying the ice cream, and my wife and I just started talking. And she said she remembers when she was a kid. Maybe I'll let her tell the story, but she grew up in a poor family in Thailand during a really bad time in Thai history. There was a lot of people living in the rural areas, and it was day-to-day existence. You work, you find food, and you come home and you eat, and you get up and you do the same thing over and over again. It wasn't the kind of lifestyle that I've enjoyed as a kid. And I was telling my wife that, she told me this story, and I told her, I can honestly say I've never wanted for anything that that meant my survival or even a little bit of enjoyment. I always had money or a family member that would say, let's go for a soda down at the coffee shop, or let's get a popsicle, or here's $1, go buy yourself a brown bag full of penny candies, that kind of thing. I never wanted for anything, and I feel pretty lucky.
Yeah. I guess I just have to continue because YouTube won't allow you to have some like a sad story, something like that.
Oh, I'm not sad. I'm just feeling really lucky. Like honestly, I've never been in a position in my life where I wanted for anything that meant my survival. I've always had a roof over my head. I've always had food in my stomach. I've always had clean water to drink. I've always had a school to go to. And if I wanted to go higher in education, there's always a way to get a better education, improve your lot in life. I've never ever wanted for anything, but nor maybe you can just tell any listeners what your life was like growing up.
Like, apologize for my accents. As you guys know, I'm from Thailand. I'm not born here in Canada, so I have a really thick accents from Thailand. Hope you guys can understand what I try to explain. So we came here, have some drink, have some ice cream at Dairy Cream this morning, and just sit at the park here in Punoka. And then we just came up with a lot of idea, like people try to lose weight, like a lot of like I mean people that I know, I not say everyone, but people that I know who in Canada here. สวัสดีค่ะ East เดี๋ยวช่วยแฟนแป๊บนึงนะคะ sorry, I just have to say hello the fan club that come and say hello.
สวัสดีครับ
So what I try to say, like we have a conversation about how people here that whoever I know since I came to Canada, everyone try to lose weight. Everyone spend big money to lose weight, and kind of like complain about too much food and everything, right? But then for me, I have like different idea. I like why people complain so much sometimes, because you have everything you need here. You not suffer, and you have food, you have whatever you want, and you have a great support from government, especially this difficult time, the virus thing. I think like government step up and help a lot of people. Up in the opposite side, in my country, in Thailand, we don't get help, and a very small help, like I would say they give maybe $1,000 to support each person that they cannot work for 3-4 months. And you know, some people lose their job, lose their livelihood, and not even have food on their place. That's why I came up with, like, when I drink that smoothie that I got from Dairy Queen today, and I order like kiwi strawberry, I think. And then I remembered about my childhood when I grew up.
You told us a story about when you were young, and I'll let you continue, Norm. It
แป๊บ
kind of
นึง
was
นะเพื่อนอีท
it was kind of a touching story, and I just kind of like, you know what, we should share this story with people who are feeling, you know, my life's so tough and stuff right now, and if you listen to other people's stories, then you can maybe look around you and reevaluate what's really going on, and just experience greater thankfulness for where you're at in your life. So sorry, Norm, to interrupt, but what were you telling me about the popsicle or the drink that you were
yeah
as a kid?
as a kid, right? As a kid, like I born in a very poor family. My parents have 6 children. They are great parents. They give us anything like we want at they can, right? Like, not, it doesn't mean like they don't want to give us. They try to buy us anything at all. So one time I got to drink the smoothie. If I remember, it's a black currants. It's kind of like a grape, right? Black currants and blackberry smoothie. It was 40 baht back then, so it's about $2, $2 Canadian. For Thai people back then, for me, for my family, is a lot of money. 40 baht is like, oh, it's so expensive, and I got to drink that, and like I never forgot that. It's so good, and I wish that I can drink every day. I can have it every day because it tastes so good and very expensive, but that's my memory, right? And also, like, my parents, they always make a big pot of soup to feed like 6 children, inclusive themselves. So in the soup, we might have a small piece of chicken, but we have a lot of vegetable, and also like spice it up, make it very spicy, so we can enjoy it with rice. But you know what? My parents, they never touch one piece of chicken. They gave us the chicken, the meat that we needed. They only eat the soup and vegetable, and they happy to feed us. But then I compare with everything nowadays. Seem like people or children, they always requested more. They don't know how much the parent that try to work hard, try to do a lot to feed them, to give to them, right? Seem like kid nowadays, they don't understand. But for me, that's when I growing up, I remember everything my parents did to us. when we moved back to the village, my parents retired from work at janitor at the school, so they moved back to the village, small town. Then they start to kind of like grow rice. They went back for farming again and have a really hard work in the farm. So they cannot afford to buy us clothes or food too much, like hardly nothing. We find fish from the farm, we find like any vegetable that we can eat, just walk around the field there, and anything we can find, or go in the bush, look in the forest, mushroom, whatever, the bug, everything, like everything that's edible.
You're really living off the land, right?
Yeah, that's what I grew up with. Like I remember I was about 14. That's when my parents moved back, and I remember I helped them work at the farm, like do whatever that I can give them a hand. And I was a really hard working person. So when my parents they sold the rice, for example, like once a year that they sold their product, so they give back to us that we helping them. They buy me the new clothes, buy my sibling the new clothes. That's the gift once a year that we get, is a new clothes. I never have one toy. I never have TV, internet, whatever. All I have is a new clothes.
What about Game Boys? Did you have Game
Never.
Boy?
I never.
PlayStation?
Nothing. Not anything like that. All we have is just all I have is just play in the dirt and play with my sibling, and work really hard and try to help my parents to get the chore done. Everything like, and you know what? That's my most happiest time of my life. I was so happy, and I miss them so much.
Okay, I'm gonna talk here for a bit now, because you're not allowed to get emotional and tell a sad story on YouTube. I heard that somewhere, but so we'll give you a break now. And I just want to thank you for sharing, Norman, and I want to kind of express how that made me feel when I heard you talk about that, because again, the contrast between the way I was raised and what my experience was living in the Western world, in Canada, growing up, and what you express, the way that you lived in Thailand. What really stuck in my mind was how totally different our experience was. And Norm talked about, she had one time in her life growing up where she had a black currant Slurpee, and to have a memory seared in her brain so much that she's never forgotten that incident. I wonder if anybody out there could say they remembered every time they had a Slurpee. I've had thousands of Slurpees in my life, thousands of treats, thousands of pies and candies and snacks. But to hear somebody say one of their favorite childhood memories was getting a special treat, a black currant Slurpee, it just hit me how thankful that I am that we live in such a land of plenty. And even the chicken story, yeah, we used to fight over stuff around our table growing up too. Like there was always plenty, but there's always one or two extra pork chops, and we'd fight about who got that one. But it wasn't about survival. It was about excess, and like, oh, there's still some more. You want some more, and you eat until you can't eat another bite. Especially on Thanksgiving or Christmas, when you meet at the grandparents' farm and everybody has a big meal and you eat twice. That's all you do. You eat, and then you go outside and play when you're a kid. You come back and you eat again, and then later on there's tea and snacks, right? It's just nonstop, the abundance that we have here. And when you hear a story that, and you contrast your own experience to that, it's just mind-boggling. And the only thing that comes to my mind is just how fortunate we are to live in a country like Canada, and especially when you're on this hiatus from work, and in our case we're both not working at the moment. Norm started to go back to work, but she's not back full time yet. So we've had a lot of time to think. We've been doing YouTube, looking at the world around us, looking at the physical beauty, the nature around us, and we went on a short trip into BC and experienced some of our favorite places to go on holiday too. And we looked at the world. At least for me, my experience, I've looked at the world so much differently now that I've got a little bit more time for my gray matter to ruminate in some cases, and in other cases just look around and in awe at the abundance and the beauty that we are living in on this planet. So I just walk away with just a feeling of real awe and real thankfulness, just being alive and sharing the planet with everybody. And as we're sitting here, there's lots of people out here now walking in the park. We at McDonald's, there's a lot of people coming in and out. And what's kind of scary is that we've pretty much, I think, gone through that first phase of the epidemic here in Alberta, and things have opened up, and we've seen a lot of things that concern us still, and I don't think that it's the situation is that governments wanted to eradicate this virus. I think it's inevitable, yes, but the measures that were put in place were to slow it down. To you flatten the curve, it doesn't mean the area under the curve is any different. There's still going to be a certain portion of the people, of the population, that's going to get this virus. But what it does, and what the intention was by flattening the curve, was to push it out so the healthcare system doesn't get overwhelmed, and that's when we're going to get in trouble, right? So it was just about stretching out the incidence of the disease. So all of our infrastructure, all of our institutions, hospitals and emergency healthcare and all of those institutions would be able to handle the influx. So it's a little concerning now. We're maybe approaching the second wave in the next while, and I just, we see some of the behaviors, especially, some people, they're not too concerned about it. I still run into a lot of people whose attitude is, well, if they would have let it just run its course, would be done with it by now. But I think that comes from not really knowing how viruses work, and we got to listen to the experts about this situation. And we're starting to wear a mask when we go into stores, and I try to keep happy face underneath my mask and say hello like I would to people if I didn't have it on. And I joke about, hey, I really like this now because my OCD personality can really play out now. I can splash alcohol over myself and wear a mask and touch buttons to open the door automatically with my elbow, or touch it with my knee if it's one of those ones for wheelchairs. But I think it's important we just keep up doing everything we can, just like if every surface was contaminated, and treat the whole world around you like you're OCD and you don't want to touch anything, because that's probably the best practice. I just laugh at sometimes, anyone who's OCD now, man, it's a golden time for people with mental illness. So I joke about that, even though it's not a funny thing. But a lot of our ideas and values have been challenged by this too. I remember, a few months ago, wasn't that long ago, there were a lot of debates in some of the provinces in Canada about people wearing face masks, right? There's a large influx of people from Muslim countries into Canada, and a lot of people, they don't like change. They don't like to see that, and they didn't want people in public positions to be wearing masks. And it's really ironic now that governments are, in some jurisdictions, they're mandating wearing masks. So it's kind of ironic. And some of the beefs and problems that we took offense with become really non-issues after a while when you look at it from the standpoint, well, now everybody has to wear a mask. It makes you wonder, what the heck were you complaining about in the first place when you didn't want people wearing masks and teaching your kids in the school, or you didn't want to go into a bank and see someone behind the teller with a different dress on than you, or different costume, or I don't know if costume is the right word, but a different garb from their native country. And now it seems like those beefs and issues and problems are just like faded away into oblivion. At least they should make us realize that, you know what, maybe some of the things I take offense with really aren't that important. So those are the kind of things I've been thinking about anyway. But it's sure good to be alive, and it's sure good.
Want to go a little ride? Get
Yeah,
a
let's go.
party.
Let's go for a ride. We got that off our chest. It was just an observation I thought we'd share with everybody today. We're not anybody's keeper here. We're not trying to, we're not trying to set any bar higher. We don't have a bar set higher than anyone else for us.
Should we go a little east today? See
Point
the
out.
beautiful countryside?
Yeah, sure. We're not here to point out anybody's downfall, or because we got our own issues, and we got our own faults, and we got our own problems. So just thought we'd share that on the channel here today. And,
Sorry to be so emotional
Yeah.
because I miss my parents so much because of this virus. I haven't go home for a long time, right?
for what, 3 or 4 years now. When Norm first came over, we went back every year or every couple of years anyway, but we haven't been back there for a while, and Norm misses her parents a lot. She's able to visit with them, phone them, and you do the FaceTime and all that. But sometimes it just a hug from your mom or dad or your favorite sibling would go a long way. Staying in contact with people, right? You all know what I mean. Where are we going to go? Just for a drive?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go out to Mecca Glen, and then we'll head home from there.
Sure.
I want
Can
to
you
scout.
stop at the shop? I want to go to the water.
Yeah, sure. I want to scout out a location because I want to do a kind of a project with the drone, and I think it has a promise to turn out pretty cool. I'm going to pick a really quiet country road and just see how far I can get down the country road, and fly the drone and piece it all together so it looks like one continuous flyby. I think it'd be kind of cool. And if it's too long, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but if it's too long, just splice it together and put it on a time lapse, so you got a kind of a flyover of a country road. I think it'd be kind of a cool thing to do. So we got a couple of projects, bona fide projects, not just live streaming all the time, but a couple of bona fide projects in the works, in my head anyway. And hopefully I have the time before I go back to work to do some of these things I've been thinking about, because as soon as I'm back to work, I'm sure my mind will wander back to get it done. Let's keep the mind on the job, and when you're home, you're just tired and you just want to rest. So I like this creative space that I've been in the last few months, and want to make the best of it. I don't even know if I'll have a YouTube channel after I get back to work, but while I've got the time and while I've got the thoughts, I'm going to keep working on some projects. And what I got to really get after is
Can
that.
you turn right here?
Where?
Turn right.
Oh, okay. What I really got to get after is my Life in a Day 2020 project, July 25th project. I've got everything in the can still. I haven't gone back and started editing, and I got to get that done and submitted before Saturday, so I can be perhaps considered to be in that.
Before Saturday? It's
Yeah, tomorrow. I know. So I got today and tomorrow to get that edited down and get something submitted if I'm going to have a chance of being in that feature film by director Ridley Scott and others for YouTube.
Turn here,
So
turn left. Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. Turn left here?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So after that's done, I'll have more time to do some other projects, and my insurance company is sending me to some therapy starting, I think, next week. So I'm getting ready to go back to work. I've got a potential back to work date for September 15th. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to work. It's been a long time for me being disabled and fighting back from the brink. So that's gonna be fun and challenging at the same time. So a lot of interesting things happening in my life and in our family's life. And YouTube certainly has been a great distraction, but it's become a real obsession too. It's a lot of fun going out and doing all this. So we'll get back to a more regular life after I'm back to work and when Norm's back to work. And I'm not sure about school, if they're going to actually be able to reopen the school. So Ryan will have to wait and see what happens with that. But here in Alberta, we got notice that, they're planning on having a regular school year starting September. So Ryan will be in grade 6 this coming year. That's kind of exciting. Be nice to get back to school and reconnect with some of his friends and teachers. He's had a lot of good teachers there at the Pinoak Elementary School over the last few years. So he'll be looking forward to seeing who's going to be his teacher in grade 6. Do you know who your teacher's going to be, right?
No idea.
No idea yet, but there's a lot of good teachers. They got a really great staff. There are a couple of teachers there last year. The basketball coach is an awesome dude. Very, very engaging. He's a grade 6 teacher. That'd be great if you could get Mr.
Yeah,
K, eh?
Right, take it.
He's a great guy. Teaches basketball and what else does he teach, Ryan? Does he teach science, computing science? He's a great resource anyway. Encourages the kids to do their projects, and when he sees promise, that he's really encouraging, and I think that's great. You need teachers like that. Shout out to all the good teachers out there. And Norm just got us a glass of cold water. We need it. It's a hot day here in Alberta. We had a couple of hot days now, but in the evening we had some pretty amazing thunder and lightning storms. The other day I got woke up at about 4 in the morning. Not last night, the night before. And I got woke up by the thunder and lightning. Normally nothing can wake me up at night, not even Norm's snoring. But that night I was awake, and so I went out and checked my computer and did a few things online, and then I finally went back to bed. But it poured probably at least 6 hours. Just poured rain.
Yeah, it's even break the
Yeah.
garden.
In all of July. I don't know what, I should look and see what. I don't have a rain gauge or anything, but I don't know how much rain we had, but it's probably been the wettest year on record for as long as they've been keeping records. I'm guessing, because it has been just unbelievable amount of rain.
Shout out to Isaria East. Her nickname is that she will be here for you, support you.
Oh, thanks. It's nice to meet you. Swadee krap, hapkun krap. Yeah, we're just yapping.
She one of our baseball player.
Oh, awesome. Nice to see you here.
I'm on it.
Appreciate the support. What is Siri wanting anyway? What is she up to? What is she yapping about? That darn Siri gets me into so much trouble. Joe Lawrence, the guy I told you about earlier in this broadcast, singer-songwriter, Alberta boy, he was telling a story on his YouTube channel about Siri and how he just about got into trouble with his wife because he was going. You'll have to look it up. Look up his channel, Joe Lawrence channel on YouTube, and check out some of his broadcasts there. He was, I think he was working as a gas fitter or something like that for a school board, and he said that he had the phone in the van with him, his work van. He was going somewhere, and he had to go to a small town in Alberta. I think it was Irma. There's a lot of weird names for towns.
I know that name.
Every country's got weird names for towns. Anyway, he talked through Siri, and Siri is going to type for him, right? So he told his wife that he's got to go to Irma for a while to do a job or something. And Siri wrote down that he's got to go do somebody's mum. So I don't know if he's still in the doghouse about that or anything. He always talks about being in the doghouse. But he tells some pretty funny stories. And he's got a really great little playlist on his channel. There's a couple of characters, emojis, new emojis on the iPhone that he uses. Animojis. Yeah, one is Carl the unicorn. The other guy is a lion, and his name is Frank. And they banter back and forth and provide for themselves some pretty good comedy gold. So you might want to check out Joe Lawrence's channel there just for that alone. And if you love music, you love
What that guy gonna do?
you love guitar music, banjo picking, and very smart lyrics, you want to check out Joe Lawrence. And do it soon because he needs your support. He wants to, he's got a family of 10 kids.
That's a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids. We got one kid. It's not exactly a cheap proposition raising one kid, setting them on their life path in a healthy and straight manner so they can be successful, but I couldn't imagine having 10. If we could push Joe Lawrence over the top and allow him to get monetized and get his name out there as much as we can, his talent may get out there and be shared with the world, and he'll benefit by maybe being able to make a living with his music, and we'll all benefit because we'll enjoy his songs and his stories. So get out there and support Joe, and do it now. Do it today. Watch 15, 20 minutes, even an hour. Watch all of his playlists in the next couple of days. You'll benefit, you'll enjoy it, and Joe will thank you for it. Just leave him a comment. Tell him I sent you. I'm nobody, but tell him I sent you anyway. And the next one we're featuring is DJ Matter. He's another nice guy. We met him. We were doing a live chat, and he popped up on this live chat. And over the last, few days or a week or so, got to know him a little bit. He's a young guy out of Cincinnati, Ohio. He's starting a YouTube channel and learning how to become successful on YouTube. So check out DJ Matter's channel as well. It's MADDER, DJ Matter.
You want to ride live stream and then a little drive?
Yeah, we're just going to go for a little drive, drink the water. We're not going to be too long. We got to go back home here before too long. I got to work on my project, the 2020.
You're gonna talk to Dad? You can talk.
You can talk, right? Am I
Yeah.
talking too much again?
No, I just don't want to continue to make you talk. Sound like you're talking.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't have to talk all the time. I'm just going to go home and work on my project, and got some yard work to do too. So we'll do that. And I always want to get some footage of some animals around our yard too.
ลูกยึดมือถือไปแล้วเพื่อนอีทตอนนี้ไม่มีมือถือโต้ตอบนะเพื่อนอีท ลูกยึดมือถือไปแล้วแบตเขาหมดเขาเอามือถือน้องไปเล่นละโต้ตอบไม่ได้ No one of my Thai friend tried to talk to me and then took away my phone so
Oh, that's okay. You can. I think basically the thing was that we had that moment there when we were enjoying our ice cream and that was kind of the main focus of this live stream, was just to express
The
how
drone
thankful we
fleet,
are.
good
and-
evening.
Good evening. How are you? I got a good drone story lately. I was going to make a clip about it.
เข้าใจแล้วเพื่อนอีท
You guys know what happened to my drone yesterday? I was going to do a video about that, and I haven't had time, so maybe I'll just address that, and maybe somebody could give me some insight on what happened. I'll tell the story. In the evening there was lots of, not a lot, but there's some interesting clouds in the sky to the west of us. There's a gravel pit over there, and they've got, part of it is an active mine, and the other part is filled with water. So I think the water table's high, and it's just kind of been converted back to a pond. There were some geese on the pond, and the sun was shining so nicely on the pond. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna put the drone up in the air and see if I can put the drone up there and get a beautiful shot of the sunset. So I did, Everything's set up, and I had some concerns because earlier in the day my phone totally filled up. I have a real problem with storage. I'm a videoing fanatic right now. And hello there, drone geek or drone Greek? I can't see it. I'm sorry. What is it? Greek? Greek or geek?
Geek.
Drone geek. Nice to have you on the channel here. I'm just going to tell this story about drones while you're on there, so you're still there and you're interested. I got something to share with you. Maybe you got some hints for me. So anyway, I'm at the side of the road and I get everything ready and set out my landing pad in kind of like a grassy ditch. I don't want to be too conspicuous there, and just kind of parked in an approach to a farmer's field. I sent the drone up, and I just kind of did a manual droney straight up, and I was up about 350 feet or so, and then I kind of approached the pond, and I was going to do, some cinematics with the sun reflecting off the pond and stuff, and went for a fly around, and all of a sudden my screen went blank on the phone, totally blank, and I panicked. I used to have a nice full black beard, dark colored beard yesterday. I'm totally white now. My beard is totally white like Santa Claus today. But I had never been so afraid for my drone. My heart was pounding in my chest, and I didn't know quite what to do or what to make of it. So the screen was black. So I tried to restart the program. It would click on and then it would click off again. It was like the phone didn't have enough storage to even operate anything. So I didn't know what to do.
Can I answer, my friend?
Yeah, go ahead.
เพื่อนอีทขับรถไปเรื่อยๆจะแบบว่าเหมือนเขาอยากจะไลฟ์สตรีมแล้วก็อยากจะขับรถไปเรื่อยๆอาจารย์เพื่อนอีทดึกแล้วก็นอนเด้อไม่ต้องห่วงเดี๋ยวเรามาหากันทีหลังก็ได้นะคะขอบคุณมากๆเด้อพอดีแกแบบว่าอยากขึ้นเอาเวลาเฉยๆเหมือนกับว่าเอาไว้เผื่อเรามาหากันทีหลังอะไรประมาณนี้เนาะเดี๋ยวให้แกโม้ต่อ The drone geek said, "Oh wow, sounds scary."
It was very scary. Can I get back to the story here now?
Yeah, you can go back.
So anyway, I didn't know what to do. I'm sitting there. It seemed like forever, and I'm going, oh my God, I think I just lost my drone. And the thing is, this gravel pad or gravel pit, there's signs all around it, no trespassing, government of Alberta property, you'll be prosecuted, etc., right? So I'm going, man, you know what? I might have lost it forever, because I know you can find your drone's last location, but if it's in that water or if it's in that gravel pit, I'm done. I just won't be able to retrieve it. So I finally came to my senses, and I hit the return to home button and just waited. Tried the screen again, it stayed black on the phone. And I waited and waited. It seemed like forever, and finally I could hear it. And I said, oh my God, it's coming back, right? Thank God it's coming back. Turned to home about 200 feet, and so it was coming back, and then I thought, well, how the heck am I going to put it down? Like, it went up, and because of the wind, it said it wouldn't be able to return on its own to home, right? So I thought, well, at least it's coming back. Maybe, I'll be able to catch it or something. And so it started coming down, and it wasn't coming down on top of the pad. It looked like it was going to come down on top of my car, where I had the canoe, and I have a little storage container on the top of my car, one of those Yakima boxes.